Hello everyone. Today we are going to see in detail about the bones forming the vertebral column, that is the vertebrae. The vertebral column consists of a number of separate irregular bones called as the vertebrae. The vertebrae are placed one above the other with the intervertebral discs between them. So here you can see the intervertebral discs in between the bodies of the vertebrae, and this forms the whole of the vertebral column. The vertebral column forms the central axis of the body, and the functions of vertebral column are: it protects the spinal cord, it supports and transmits the body weight, and it provides movement of the trunk. The vertebrae are of 33 in number. The vertebrae are classified and named according to the region in which they lie. These are the cervical vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae, the lumbar vertebrae, the sacral vertebrae, and the coccygeal vertebrae. The cervical vertebrae are of 7 in number, which occupy the cervical region of the vertebral column. Then comes the thoracic vertebrae, which are of 12 in number, which occupy the thoracic region of the vertebral column. Then the lumbar vertebrae are of 5 in number, which occupies the lumbar region, and then the sacral vertebrae are again of 5 in number, and in adults the 5 sacral vertebrae fuse together to form a single bone known as the sacrum. Finally, the coccygeal vertebrae are of 4 in number, and the 4 coccygeal vertebrae fuse to form a single bone called as the coccyx. First of all, let's see the common characteristics of a typical vertebrae. The vertebrae are classified according to the region in which they lie into cervical vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae, lumbar vertebrae, sacral vertebrae, and coccygeal vertebrae. Even though each one of these possesses a specific structure and characteristics, the basic plan or the basic structure of all vertebrae remains the same. So that is what we are going to see now, that is the basic characteristics common to all the typical vertebrae. A typical vertebrae consists of 3 main parts. These are the body, an arch, and a vertebral foramen. So here, this part of the vertebrae is called as the body of the vertebrae. This cylindrical part is the body of the vertebrae, and body of the vertebrae, it forms the anterior part or the ventral part of the vertebrae. Then comes the vertebral arch. This arch shaped part, that is the vertebral arch or the neural arch, it forms the posterior part or the dorsal part of the vertebrae. So here is the body of the vertebrae, which forms the anterior part of the vertebrae, and then comes the posterior part, which is arch shaped, and it is called as the vertebral arch or the neural arch, which forms the posterior part or the dorsal part. Then there is the foramen. This foramen is called as the vertebral foramen. It lies between the body and the arch. It lies between the body anteriorly and the arch posteriorly. So these are the 3 main parts of the vertebrae: the body of the vertebrae, then the arch shaped posterior part, this is the vertebral arch or the neural arch, and then there is the foramen in between the body and the arch, that is the vertebral foramen. Now the vertebrae are placed one above the other with the intervertebral discs in between them, and when the vertebrae are placed one above the other in this way, so here you can see the vertebral foramen, and when the vertebrae are placed one above the other, the vertebral foramen of all the vertebrae together, it gets converted into a canal, and this canal is named as the vertebral canal or the spinal canal. So when the vertebrae are placed one above the other, the vertebral foramen of all the vertebrae together gets converted into a canal, and this canal is called the vertebral canal or the spinal canal, and it lodges the spinal cord along with its meninges and the blood vessels. So before going into the details of each parts, let's see the anatomical position of the vertebrae. Since vertebrae is a bone which is located in the midline of the body, there is no site determination, yet we need to see the anatomical position of the bone. So first of all, we have already seen that the body, it is the anterior part or the ventral part, and then the neural arch, it is the dorsal part or the posterior part. So here is the anterior aspect and here comes the posterior aspect. Okay, so the body should face anteriorly, and the neural arch, it should come posteriorly. Then there is this process which projects downwards, and it is called as the spinous process. The spinous process, it passes backwards and downwards from the posterior aspect of the vertebrae. Okay, so this spinous process, it should pass backwards and downwards. So in a normal anatomical position, this spinous process should be projecting from the posterior aspect of the vertebrae downwards and backwards. So this is how the bone is placed in its normal anatomical position in the midline of the body, with the body of the vertebrae placed anteriorly, then the neural arch placed posteriorly, and the spinous process projecting downwards and backwards from the posterior aspect of the vertebrae. Now we are going to see each of these parts in detail. So first of all, about the body of the vertebrae. So here is the body of the vertebrae. The body is nearly cylindrical in shape. The shape is cylindrical, and the body possesses 6 surfaces. These are an upper surface, a lower surface, an anterior surface, a posterior surface, and 2 lateral surfaces. So holding the bone in anatomical position, this is the anterior aspect of the bone, and here comes the posterior aspect, and here this cylindrical part is the body of the vertebrae, and now here is the upper surface of the body of vertebrae. Then here comes the lower surface of the body of vertebrae. Then here comes the anterior surface of the body of vertebrae, and here comes the posterior surface of the body of vertebrae, and there are 2 lateral surfaces. One is here and the other one is here. So these are the surfaces of the body of vertebrae. Once again, here is the upper surface, then here is the lower surface, then here is the anterior surface, this one is the posterior surface, and these are the 2 lateral surfaces. The bodies of the vertebrae lie one above the other, separated by intervertebral discs which are made of fibrocartilage in between them. So you can see the intervertebral discs in between the bodies of the vertebrae. So this is how the vertebral bodies are aligned in the vertebral column. There is the intervertebral disc which is made of fibrocartilage in between the bodies of the vertebrae. So now we have seen about the body of the vertebrae. Now let's see about the arch. The arch is also called as the vertebral arch or the neural arch. It forms the posterior part of the vertebrae, that is, it is present posteriorly. Then the arch consists of 3 main parts. These are a pair of pedicles, a pair of laminae, and 7 processes. So let's see each of these parts in detail. First of all, pedicles. What are pedicles? Pedicles are short, thick processes which pass backwards from the junction of lateral and posterior surfaces of the body. So here is the body, and here comes the posterior surface of the body, and here is the lateral surface of the body. The 2 lateral surfaces and the 1 posterior surface. So at the junction between the lateral surface and posterior surface of the body, there comes the attachment of the pedicle, or the root of the pedicle is attached to the junction of the lateral and posterior surfaces of the body, and pedicles are short, thick processes which pass backwards from its attachment, that is from the junction between the lateral surface and the posterior surface. So these are the pedicles. These are the pedicles. Here is one pedicle and here is the other pedicle. Okay, so pedicles are short, thick processes. You can see they are short and they are thick. When you have a lateral view, they are thick. So short, thick processes which pass backwards from the junction of the lateral surface and the posterior surface of the body. So these are the pedicles. Now, the superior aspect of each pedicle forms a notch called as the superior vertebral notch. So here is the pedicle and here comes the superior aspect of the pedicle, and superior aspect of each pedicle forms a notch and it is called as the superior vertebral notch. And then same way the inferior aspect of each pedicle, here is the inferior aspect of the other pedicle. So inferior aspect of each pedicle also forms another notch and it is called as the inferior vertebral notch. So this is the inferior vertebral notch. Here is the other inferior vertebral notch. So inferior vertebral notches are formed by the inferior aspects of the pedicle and superior vertebral notch is formed by the superior aspects of the pedicle. So the superior aspect of each pedicle forms a notch called as the superior vertebral notch and the inferior aspect of each pedicle forms another notch is called as the inferior vertebral notch. Now see, the vertebrae are placed one above the other to form the vertebral column. Okay, so when two vertebrae articulate with each other in this way, the vertebrae articulate with each other this way. So when two vertebrae articulate with each other, the inferior vertebral notch of the vertebrae above together with the superior vertebral notch of the vertebrae below forms a foramen here and this foramen is called as the intervertebral foramen. So here you can see one foramen formed here when these two vertebrae are articulated to each other. So in this way when two vertebrae articulate with each other, the inferior vertebral notch of the vertebrae above along with the superior vertebral notch of the vertebrae below together form a foramen, this foramen here, and this foramen is called as the intervertebral foramen. So the intervertebral foramina are present in between every vertebrae like this. Here is the intervertebral foramen. So how the intervertebral foramina are formed? It is formed by the inferior vertebral notch of the vertebrae above along with the superior vertebral notch of the vertebrae below. Okay, so when the vertebrae articulate with each other in this way, the intervertebral foramina is formed. Here is the inferior vertebral notch of the vertebrae above and here is the superior vertebral notch of the vertebrae below together forming the intervertebral foramen. And this intervertebral foramen, it transmits the spinal nerves and the vessels. The spinal nerves, spinal artery and the spinal vein passes through this intervertebral foramen. Now we have seen about the pedicles. Now let's see the next part, that is the laminae. So laminae are broad plates of bone lying behind and medial to the pedicles. So here are the two pedicles. The pedicles and lying posterior and medial to the pedicles are broad plates of bone called as the laminae. So these are the laminae. This is one laminae and this is the laminae of other side. Okay, so laminae are defined as broad plates of bone lying behind and medial to the pedicles. So with respect to the pedicles, the laminae, they are located behind and medial. And then the laminae of either sides, they fuse together in the midline to form this process called as the spinous process. Okay, so the spinous process is formed by the fusion of the two laminae in the midline, and the laminae also forms the posterior boundary of the vertebral foramen. So here is a vertebral foramen and the posterior boundary of the vertebral foramen is formed by this laminae. Okay, so these are the two laminae. These are the two laminae and they fuse in the midline to form the spinous process. Next we are going to see the processes in detail. So as told earlier, there are 7 processes and the first one is the spinous process. So there is one spinous process which I have already told, this is the spinous process, and spinous process, it is also called as the spine of vertebrae or the vertebral spine, and it passes backwards and downwards from the junction of two laminae. So here are the two laminae, and the two laminae fuse in the midline. So here is the junction of the two laminae. So from the junction of the two laminae starts the spinous process, and from there it passes backwards and downwards. So the spinous process projects backwards and downwards from the junction of the two laminae, or in other words, the two laminae fuses in the midline to form the spinous process, which projects backwards and downwards. And the shape and size of the spinous process varies in vertebrae of different regions. So that's about the spinous process. And next, the other two processes are the articular process and the transverse process. The articular processes are of 4 in number and transverse processes are of 2 in number. So here are the two transverse processes. These are the two transverse processes, and 4 articular processes are, one is here, the other one is here, and the third one is here, and the fourth one is here. So these are the 4 articular processes, and these two are the transverse processes. Okay, and all these processes, that is the 4 articular processes and the 2 transverse processes, they all project from the junction between the laminae and the pedicle. Okay, so here is the pedicle and here comes the laminae. Okay, so this point is the junction between the laminae and the pedicle. So this point is the junction between the laminae and the pedicle. So as you can see here, this point is the junction between the pedicle and the laminae. So from this point, that is from the junction between the laminae and the pedicle, projects the articular processes and the transverse process. Okay, so first of all, let's see about the 4 articular processes, and among this 4 articular processes, 2 are located in the superior aspect of the bone and 2 are found on the inferior aspect of the bone, and the 2 articular processes found on the superior aspect of the vertebrae are called as the superior articular processes. So these two are the superior articular processes. The superior articular processes. So as the name suggests, they are articular surfaces. It possesses articular surfaces. The 2 superior articular processes possess articular surfaces, and they project upwards from the junction between the laminae and the pedicle. So as you can see, it projects upwards from the junction between the laminae and the pedicle. The superior articular processes projects upwards from the junction between the laminae and the pedicle, and they face more or less backwards. So here is the superior articular surface or the superior articular facet of the superior articular process. So this whole process is called as the superior articular process, and this surface, or on this surface, you can see a articular facet which is an articular surface, and this articular facet is called as the superior articular facet. And this superior articular facet, it faces posteriorly. It faces posteriorly. As you can see, when I hold the bone in anatomical position, the superior articular surface present on the superior articular process, it faces posteriorly. And the superior articular facets, it articulate with the inferior articular facet of the vertebrae above. So I'll be explaining that in a while. Let's see about the inferior articular process also. So the inferior articular processes, these are the inferior articular processes. They are located in the inferior aspect of the bone, and inferior articular processes, they project downwards. They project downwards when you hold the bone in anatomical position. Here are the inferior articular processes. They project downwards, and the inferior articular facets present on the inferior articular process. So here are the inferior articular facets. You can see one articular surface which is a facet, and these are the inferior articular facets which are present on the inferior articular processes. Okay, so these inferior articular facets, they face forwards. So hold the bone in anatomical position. This is the anterior aspect, this is the posterior aspect. Now this facet, inferior articular facet, inferior articular facet, they face forwards. They face forwards. So this is the anterior aspect and this is the posterior aspect, and this inferior articular facets here, they face forwards. They face forwards. When you hold the bone in anatomical position, you can see that inferior articular facets, they face forwards. And then the inferior articular facets articulate with the superior articular facets of the vertebrae below. So let's see how this occurs. So here is two vertebrae which are articulated to each other. So this is how two vertebrae are articulated to each other. So here you can see that, this is the superior articular process with the superior articular facet, and it is articulating with the inferior articular facet of the inferior articular process. Okay, so see this is the vertebrae above, and here is the inferior articular facet of the inferior articular process of the vertebrae above. Now this is the vertebrae below, and this is the superior articular facet present on the superior articular process of the vertebrae. And when these two vertebrae articulate, you can see that the articulation occurs between the inferior articular facet of the vertebrae above and the superior articular facet of the vertebrae below. Okay, so once again, here is the inferior articular process of the vertebrae above, and here is the superior articular process of the vertebrae below. And this inferior articular process consists of the facet called as inferior articular facet, and this superior articular process consists of the facet called as the superior articular facet. So the inferior articular facet of the vertebrae above articulates with the superior articular facet of the vertebrae below. So this is how the articulation between two vertebrae occurs. That is, the inferior articular facet of the inferior articular process of the vertebrae above articulates with the superior articular facet of the superior articular process of the vertebrae below. So these are the articulations of the superior articular facet and the inferior articular facet. Now let's see about the last process, that is the transverse process. So transverse processes are of two in number, and these are the two transverse processes. The transverse processes project laterally from the junction of laminae and the pedicle. So here is the pedicle and here is the laminae, and this point forms the junction between the laminae and the pedicle, and the transverse process, it projects laterally from the junction between the laminae and the pedicle. So these are the two transverse processes, and you can see they are projecting laterally from the junction between the pedicle and the laminae.